Hello, everyone. Hi. So my lighting is a bit bad today, and there's nothing I can do about that. I just lost power, and it is very spotty for now. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. But, in the still pictures, I'll make sure to brighten them up so you can actually see them. Last time I painted Hey everyone! Today we're going to be painting my whale shark Miku design using watercolor and gouache because the last time we did that you loved it and I also loved it. I think it's really cool. So I want to use it again and I want to refine this design of Miku more. And we might not land on the final design ever today, but I want to draw her more. I want to paint her more. I want to get used to these paints, things like that. And my lighting is a bit bad because I recently lost power and it's being weird about coming back on. Some of the lights are working and some of them are not. So we're just gonna have to deal for now. For example, one thing I want to work on with this design is the big bow. I think it's actually distracting. It competes with the hair, so I'm going to lose that. And I want to adjust where I put the beads. I feel like they look a little strange. They look a little too symmetrical. I'm gonna try and draw lightly too. That's something I have a hard time with, so I can erase it easier. I think she's taller than that. I haven't drawn Miku that many times, so every time I draw her, I feel like I understand how to draw her a little better. And you guys can't see it because it wouldn't fit in frame it and wouldn't really make sense. But off, out of frame, I do have the last drawing I did of my Miku, so I can reference it if I need to. We're not going to be able to see most of the pose, but I do want to put some work into it because it makes the whole pose look more solid, even when you can't see the legs. It's one of those things where you would notice it if it was wrong. Like it would look odd even if you couldn't explain it. I think we should make her arms a little longer because the legs are so long. Okay, that should be good for the arms. I'm trying to press down enough that I can see the lines, but I also need to make them light enough that I can erase them if I need to. Cleaning this up, I'm going to add the face. I feel like I kind of discover the pose as I start drawing. It can be fun. I also want to, I feel like her pigtails look a little empty. I want to try and add to those. I also want to kind of adjust her curls. I feel like I do want them to be curly, but I feel like they're so wavy, they kind of don't match with the rest of the design. Just not too many curls. Maybe I could just have two up here, but I don't want them to look like horns. I'm gonna just lightly sketch in the expression. I feel like I have a hard time getting expressions the way I want them to look in the inking phase. And this is painting, which doesn't even have inking, so I'm just gonna be very careful. And these I might just draw over normally anyway because I want them to look nice. I want the face to look how I want it to because that's an important part. I want her to look nice and happy. I feel like if Miku was real, she would be, like, pretty friendly and cheerful in person. She saves all of, like, the existentialism or, like, the anger and stuff for her art. I've never drawn drill curls before, but I wonder if I could draw those in another like, a future version of her. I realized also I really like the wider version of her gown, very princessy. It matches the neckline too. I think when I actually paint these beads will just be like little dots of white paint, but I wanna sketch in where they should be. Forgot to get out my art eraser too. Jeez, hold on. And I'm also gonna sketch in the ruffles. I feel like the way I've drawn limbs has gotten more and more stylized over the years, and I actually really like it. I don't think you'll be able to see the O1 in this picture at all, but that's fine. Do artists usually do this? They sketch in even like the tiny details? I don't know. I don't follow that many painters. I want to make sure I remember to draw it, you know? I might make this waistband yellow, like the ruffles. I don't think I'll draw in all the ruffles on the trim on the bottom of the skirt because I mean, I don't think I'll draw in every bead because that is a lot. But that I think I can remember to do because at that point everything else will have beads. Maybe I should make the waistband bigger, you know? Rest of the dress very dramatic. Let me adjust this so you can see better. Again, you would be able to see much better if my lighting was not messed up, but that's just how it is today. I couldn't control it. I feel like that looks a little ragged, but also if you worry too much about ruffles, then they start looking worse because they look too planned. So I'm not going to adjust them too much. I'm going to try putting the beads farther apart and maybe not have them go all the way up. How does that look? I want them to look more like the beads on the sleeves, which I'll get to in a second. I better erase the arms in the middle first. See, doesn't that look pretty? And I'm not going to worry too much about the exact placement of these because I will probably just paint them on, but I do want to get a general idea of where the beads should go. I wonder if adding more beads would make the skirt look more normal. Like, I don't want them to look weird compared to the sleeves, but I don't really know what is making the skirt look weird. So I'm not sure what to do about it. And I'm just going to keep adjusting until I figure it out. I want this to go outside the edge of the pigtail a little. How's that look? That looks better. I might need to get out my real eraser. Hold on. I feel like this, I'm just trying to give her a straight hair, but I think I messed up a little, so I'm gonna move it over a little. That's better. It's okay. How's that look? I really like her expression so far. I wonder if it would be okay to leave the lines visible. I don't paint very often, so I haven't seen like my own lines visible in a painting before, but I wonder if that wouldn't be so bad. Cleaning up some of the extra lines. Gonna get my bigger eraser real quick. I wonder if it would work to add ink to this, just so the lines I wouldn't like accidentally erase, but I also think that might bleed. I think we're gonna have to obviously do a few layers and like let it dry in the middle. So we might also spend some time just doing like regular watercolor sketching while that happens. Lightening up some lines. I'm gonna have to do so much color mixing too. That could be fun. Okay. I'm smudging this a bit, but hopefully it'll look better once it's actually painted over. Okay. Adjust this real quick. I feel like you don't see the swirl shape of her hair anywhere else in this. Okay. I think I'm getting more confident in my lines. All right. I wanted to change the angle of this curl a little bit. Just for reference, this is the amount of work that goes into even the parts of the drawing that you don't even see in the final version. And there's a reason for that. Even if you can't see it, if that was like if it wasn't carefully thought through, it would feel wrong even if you can't see it. I'm using my small eraser here just to make sure I can see what I'm doing and I don't erase too much by accident. Okay. Let's round off the end of this pigtail. Maybe we should. Okay. Maybe I should make that curve a bit more, but I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. So these pigtails don't look exactly the same, and I'm actually trying to preserve that because in real life, obviously, if you put your hair in pigtails, they're not going to look exactly the same. And I think that helps the drawing look more natural. I wonder if this one would look better if it was really round too. I'm trying to make this curl very round, and watercolor paper does not take to erasing very easily, so I'm trying to be gentle about it. Okay, that's good. I think having these big round shapes for the pigtails is really working. Okay. I kind of like these curls too. They remind me of bubbles. It's hard to explain, but they make me think of bubbles. Okay. I gotta clean up her face now, but I'm nervous about it. It's so small, so it's easy to mess up and erase wrong and like smudge everything. Okay. I wonder if I could also erase this more once the whole painting is done and not mess up the paint. Okay. I'll draw the beads back in. Let's add a bead and a bead and a bead. Yeah, and I don't know what it is. Something about the beads on the skirt is bugging me, and I don't hate it. It's like slightly off, but I'm having trouble figuring out what it is, so I'm not sure how to fix it. Maybe I should add lots more, like, on the sleeves. I wonder if I should get just, like, a pencil that has a bigger eraser and try and use that because I do not have, like, a tiny eraser for her face. Occasionally, I also forget to draw in the ears when I'm drawing something, and it's an interesting look. Hold on. Okay. I'll draw in her ears in a minute. I'm gonna try and not erase her eyebrows. That occasionally happens when I'm drawing a face and it kind of messes up the expression. There. I really want to ink in the face so that I don't mess it up, but I'm not sure. That might look a little strange, so hold on. I'm gonna adjust her face with. Again, this is the kind of thing where even if you didn't have like fancy artist words to explain it, if if you saw this and it looked bad, you'd be like, huh, something about her face. Okay. Now I'm gonna adjust her bangs. I might have to really press down on her face and make it hard to get rid of just so that I don't mess it up. It's very small, so it's easy to mess up without realizing. I'm gonna try and make sure to have the round ends. Here's the ear shape just to make sure I don't forget. Okay. There's that middle bang that she has. Nice round little eyelash. I think part of her bangs might just look like her eyebrow here, so I'm gonna leave it simple. Don't want to overcomplicate it. Gonna shorten this bit. I'm actually really happy in taking this face so slowly. I think it looks good. And that I probably will not paint right away. I might even do it off cam, like in my own time, just to make sure I can take it very slowly and give it lots of attention. Okay. 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 Bead, bead, bead. Okay. I think we should be finishing up the lines now, which means we can start painting. Okay. I'm gonna just make this a little bit rounder. Okay. I'm gonna have to try and make a very light pink, but hopefully it'll look very cute. Okay, all right. Let's start mixing our colors. I'm gonna put it on top of the drawing for now, just to make sure y'all can see it. Okay, so we have some white here. I think I forgot some like green in there from the last time I painted. So I'm gonna try and fix that. I think because this is such a light pink, we should do like mostly white with just a little bit of pink. Some people have this great ability to keep track of exactly how much paint, like how much of each paint they used to make a color, like a ratio, and I do not. But it's super cool, you know, I admire the people who can do it. Nice pale pink. Now you might be asking, Avery, why are you using gouache on watercolor paper? Two reasons. One, I'm gonna use watercolor later anyway. Two, I don't know if there's like a special paper for this, and I had this already, so I wanted to at least try and use it up. I wonder if it could be cool to let like the mixing colors be visible. Okay. So now that I know this color works, I'm gonna make lots more of it. If I was just using the regular colors for this, I would probably have to mix a little red into this, but I'm actually really glad I have a pink already because it's a pink I really like, and I think it makes the process a lot easier. That's a little bit lighter than what I was making before, so I think I'll add a little bit more pink. Maybe I should have like a teeny brush I use to move one color around. I wonder if it would work to let the color be like slightly variable. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay. I think this looks a bit darker as it dries, so I'm gonna see. I might have to paint over these beads, but I think I can remember where I need to put them. I don't want the edges to look too wavy, but I don't know what to do. I have plenty of white, so I think once this dries, I can just dot it on. I think starting at the edge helps make them look cleaner. Might have to make some more real quick. Okay. I'm gonna clean my brush a bit so that it doesn't get like gummed up. We might have to do a part two of this where we add the watercolor because making the sketch took a lot longer than I expected. But if we could do it like tomorrow, that would be fun, or maybe later today. Okay. We shouldn't need to make as much paint because we're painting smaller areas. I have to get out a really small brush to paint the sleeves, but that could be fun. Okay, we'll need a tiny bit more pink here. I think this is a bit of a darker pink than it was in the drawing, but we can always just learn how to mix colors here. I haven't done it that much. Okay, I think this is This is shaping up to what we've got. It's really cool watching the colors mix together. All right, this I think I can mix a little bit together on the drawing. I don't care if that's not how you usually do it. That is a bit lighter than I expected. Let me add a bit more pink. Okay, I think this is closer to what I had. I don't know why this like doesn't stick on sometimes, but I wonder if I could fill it up with watercolor and have that be like an intentional texture. All right, now I'm gonna have to paint up here. I kind of like leaving this with lots of texture and not making it super flat. I'm not sure why, but I really enjoy it. Let's see how this looks first. Next time, if I paint her again, I think I'll make the pink a bit lighter. It looks a little bit different, like on the page once it's dry than it does once it's wet. Okay, let's add a bit more pink. Is this still a little light? I kind of feel like it is. I'm saving this here to see if I can use it later. Okay, that's what I had before. Right now I'm trying to make this look cohesive, but if I painted this again, I might paint a different color. Is this how artists do it? They like swirl in a circle so they don't like waste their paint and spread it out. Okay. I think I'm going to make the waistband yellow to match the trim. If I have some left over, maybe I could paint like a little extra something. It could be fun to make like little paintings with extra paint. I wonder if this would look a little different in different lighting too, because again, my power's being weird today. Okay. I really like this pink. It's like a violet almost. I'm gonna need to paint the beads back in later, but it helps to know where they need to be. I really wanted to paint like a rose character for a long time, so maybe I could use this pink for that. I might have multiple rose characters because I love them. Okay. All right. Okay. I kind of, again, I kind of like the visible texture, so I'm going to leave that. And it'll be difficult to mix the exact color of her hair. So for now, I'm just gonna try and do the trim with the yellow, which I might have to make later, but I can try it. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little more saturated than it is in the drawing, but it might have to be because the pink is too. Okay. All right. I'm not worrying too much about where these two colors meet because I'm probably gonna cover it up with the beads later. I kind of like how visible it is when the paint goes on really thick, but that will probably take a little while to dry. Okay. This looks almost more Easter eggy now. That's what it reminds me of. It's really pretty though. I wonder how it would look if I left all those runs there in the paint. Maybe it would look nice. I'm gonna try and cover up the lines here, but I don't want it to like mix with the yellow and make it darker. This yellow, I'm not sure if it comes up as well on camera, but for some reason it's like a little bit dirty. I wonder if some dirt like got in the tube, so I might have to add some white anyway just to clean it up or get out more. Okay. I feel like I keep putting a little too much on the brush, so I'm trying to be more careful. I look at this almost like like pushing the paint where it needs to be, and I think that that's working really well. Like just nudging it around or like daubing it on. It looks nice. Okay, tons of yellow left over, but maybe we can use that for something else too. It is really hard to wash this paint off of the brushes. And I think we're definitely going to need to do the watercolor another time, Shane, because I love watercolor, but I'll do it as soon as I can. And actually, let me paint in the waistband real quick. Hold on. That's going to be yellow. I'm trying not to worry if these colors mix a little bit because that's normal. I wonder if it would look nice if I let the lines be visible, like in a cartoon. Okay, that's better. Are people gonna think this is an Easter Miku? It's not even close to Easter. I think the round shapes help sell an ocean idea, though. I should probably clean up the eyes eventually too, because the some of the lines are so thick and look really strange. But again, for now, not worrying about it. I'm taking it one step at a time. I feel like I'm using a lot of paint, but I want this to look really nice. Some people draw her hair as like more bluish, but I like the really greenish teal that it is. I think it's pretty. Okay, I need to make this a bit lighter. I think it is a bit of a blue-green, but I'm not sure if I could get that across with this very, very intense blue that I have. That's still way too dark. Hold on. It looks like kale or something. I have to pack a lot of kale at my work. I'm not a big fan of it, but now I can't unsee it. Okay, that's starting to look better. I'm adding just a tiny bit of white at a time because I don't want to accidentally make this too light. Yeah, it could be a little bit later. I'm trying to make sure I can see this clearly. I think this is way better than it was, but hold on. I think I should add a bit more white. Accidentally got some green in here, so I'm trying to take it out. Oh dear. I guess the next few times I use white, it's just gonna have green in it. Okay. Sun came out. I can see this a bit better. Good. Oh, this is drying. Nice. I think this looks teal enough that I don't think I really have to add blue to it. Okay. How's that look? Do you think that's light enough? Because I want it to look good with the other colors, but I also want it to clearly be like Miku teal. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna nudge this around. I do think I might need to get a smaller brush though. Hold on. I wonder if I could use this color for leaves if I painted a rose. I don't love that this has like an angled end, but it's the size I need right now. I wonder if I should leave this a little bit unpainted for the texture. Maybe I should have gotten out my towel. I have a very old towel that I use for crafting, and that helped clean these brushes a lot better. Maybe I should mix this a bit later because it looks darker once it dries. All right, hold on. All right, right. Gonna go over this a bit. I kind of like all the thick layers of paint. It looks interesting. Okay. I probably won't use this brush the whole time because it's really big, so it's a little hard to control. But I like how much it can put on so quickly. This I might have to get out a teeny brush for so I don't paint over her hands. For her hands, I think I'm just going to use one of my color pencils because I have no clue how I would paint like the exact right color. That would take a very long time. I really like mixed media too. The other day I went to a museum where there was this artist that combined like figural sculpture, like clay, with with fabric, and she put it in paint in frames like a painting, and that was so cool. I I'm not sure if I want to leave the edges raw like that. I'm also just not used to these to edges like this because I usually use markers. Those have very clean finishes. Since this is a very square brush, I feel like it's not awesome for these very round edges and shapes. Right, time to switch back to my smaller brush. I don't want that edge to look too ragged. Being super careful here. I think I shouldn't worry too much about like the edges and details being perfect. Like you don't expect that as much in paintings. It's more about how your eye interprets the whole thing. I think I might need to get out my smallest brush again. That I might go back over later. Especially up here, I think I'd need a rounder brush. Okay. I wonder if I should leave the lines a little bit free. Okay. Clean that off. I really feel like I should cover up the pencil lines. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Smoothing that out a bit. Okay. I gotta go around her hand a bit here. Okay. I want to clean this up a bit too. This looks way darker once it dries. I might have to take that into account every time I paint these. Although this looks more light now too. Okay. I don't want this to look like too straight, so I'm trying to make it look nice and curly. Okay, gonna add a bit more here. Okay, now it's time to go up here. This reminds me almost of like frosting or butter, and I'm not sure why, but it's very creamy. I'm gonna try and not go over the eyebrows because you need those. The daubing method works better in a small area. We'll get that later. I'll add the bead back in if I need to. Okay. Cool. Daub- I think that works really well when you're painting a round shape too, is daubing stuff on. Okay. Dab, 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 dab. Okay. Almost done this part. I think this really looks like Miku. I'm really proud. Need to make sure I can see everything well. I want to clean up this side real quick. Okay. Okay. How's that look? I might use this same brush to add on all the beads if everything else is nice and dry. Huh. I did not notice these drips here, but they kind of look nice. I don't think I can erase it anyway. but maybe I could paint over it. I think I might need to change my water. I think that might be making everything else a little bit, dirty because it's getting the green in it. Okay. 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 Just doing some touch-ups. I might go back over the eyelashes, for example, another time with just a pen, because I don't think I have a brush that's small enough to paint over them right now, unless I got out like the ones I use for dolls. If I have paint left over after this, I'm gonna try and paint something just quick and fun. Great. 1 second. I'm gonna go refill my water. I have a really hard time making the eyes match, but I think most artists do. This gets very gummy if you leave it be for a minute, but it wakes up again surprisingly quickly. I got a little bit of green on here by accident, so I'm trying to cover it up. Okay. I am gonna try and paint in her eyes later. I wonder if I can paint over the skirt yet. I'm trying to make a little round dot, but also not worry about it too much. I think paintings look better when you don't overthink them. It also this paint kind of curls like frosting too. It's like the gelato of paints, which makes sense because I also love gelato. Okay. It's almost like a little stamp. It's fun. It's interesting how these end up being like different heights. I'm really trying to like relax and not think about it. My hands just are naturally shaky. I have anxiety. I think I might need to use a bigger brush for the beads on the sleeves because they're bigger. I think the trim might not be quite dry too, so we might have to hold off on this until later. Might have to do this part later too, just because it's very precise. You have to wait for the stuff below it to dry. I think these look almost like pearls. That adds to the aquatic theme too. Okay. I'm trying to make these look closer together as you get closer to the top because I think that progression is really cool. Trying to make the bees get smaller as you go up too. Most pearls are not perfectly round, so I actually kind of like that these look so irregular. I hope that doesn't look weird with the rounder pearls too. Maybe I should let those be irregular on the neck and the sleeves. Like whale shark spots, I don't look at them super closely, but they're probably not all perfect circles either. This I might have to go over a couple times too. Don't want this to like look like a chocolate chip. I don't know what it is. Maybe just because this is thicker. Okay. Oop- Oops. I wonder if that would look okay. I wonder, I've seen like people use paint thinner with acrylic paints. Do you do that with gouache? I wonder if that would make some of the stuff I'm doing easier. Okay. These beads end up looking kind of 3D. I kind of like it. I feel like this looks like a little chocolate chip. It's interesting. I think they do look flatter once they dry, but I don't want them to be too tall. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know why I always say that out loud, but I think it's fun. Want to make sure you can see all these. They're not transparent. They're opaque. Need to add one here. I think I forgot that. Okay. I might have to go over these again later, but I mostly like them so far. They just look a little hairy, you know? I feel like that looks a little big, but I don't know. I'm trying not to get caught up in all the small details because I think then I'll just end up adjusting them like forever and that'll look worse. I can go over those with pink later if I need to as well. All right. Now I'm doing here. These pearls are much bigger. Maybe I can clean up those hairy parts later. Okay. Bigger pearls. For these, I will probably also have to go back over just to make sure they're opaque. Opaque means you can't see through it. Oops. I'll fix that in a minute. Okay. Gonna get out another tiny brush and make a couple of adjustments. And then I think I'm gonna try and paint in her eyes. Okay. I'm fixing up this part because I accidentally painted over it. I'm hoping that will dry darker, but if it doesn't, I will have to go over it again. Okay, gonna clean up some of the beads on the skirt. I might have to go over them again, but I just want them to look nice and round. Am I gonna have to go clean my water again? Stop. Okay, okay. This pink now has a tiny bit of green in it because of my water, so I'm trying to cover that up. Although I wonder if it would look pretty. It doesn't really bother me to see the painting process in other people's art, so I wonder if other people would like to see it in mine. And making a nice little round edge. Oop, accidentally painted that. I'll go over those again later if I need to. You need to add more pink to the sleeves too. They look a little too hairy for me. Boop, boop, boop. I don't want this to be super daubed on because this part is meant to be more flat. I might need to go over that again too. Might have to put some more white on there too. It is kind of fun to paint on top of the painting that you did earlier. Okay. I actually mostly like the beads on the skirt now. I wish they had a more uniform progression in size, but I can always work on that the next time I draw them. Too many. This brush has like a stray hair, and I don't know why. That's how it came. That makes its brush strokes a little bit hard to control. I feel like the sleeves look like they have some kind of chocolate chip on them now. That's not what I was going for, but maybe I can work on it later. Okay, that looks pretty good. I will get to the eyes eventually. I just want to make sure everything else looks nice. I don't want these to look like chocolate chips. I just don't know how to make them look flatter. Hold on. I might have to just get out like thinner paint later, like thin this out or something. Okay. All right. Now I must add the trim at the bottom. I wonder if it would work if I used like the end of a brush for that. Maybe like a less pointed one. Hold on. I think this is a thing that artists do is they paint using the end of a brush or they have like a tiny round tool. I just don't know what that is. This is probably too wide, but let me see. That's not so bad. Okay. Is that too big? Do these look too big? I do like, do I want them to be smaller than the final row of beads? I'm not sure. Let's see how this goes. What did I do here? Oh, that's a piece that fell. I forgot this cracks. It dries, but it looks very interesting. I don't want these to like blend into each other. I might have to paint back over that. I might have to seal this. Boop, boop, boop. When you put this on in thick, thick layers, that's when it cracks when it dries. I'm gonna have to go over this part with like flatter paint. I kind of like making these vary in size a bit. They look like real pearls. Oop. I wonder if it works to actually have these not all be like perfect circles. They don't all connect to each other. Because that's how beads look sometimes, kind of random. Okay. I'm gonna have to go over. I have to go over that too. But overall, I really like these. They're turning out better than I thought they would. All right, let's see. Wonder if I should add more to the cuffs of the sleeves. Okay. Okay. I feel like those are still too tall. I don't really know what to do about it because this paint is naturally very thick. So it kind of forms a tall, solid shape, whether you mean it to or not. All right. Gonna add a bit more yellow. I wash off my brush anyway because I'm trying not to let the paint get too thick on it. So here, dot made on might work. I forgot this cracked. It looks different than I expected. Okay. I wonder if one of the reasons why people liked the last gouache painting I did is the cracking, because it makes for a really unique texture. I know lots of people really enjoy the last time I painted using gouache, and I really appreciate it. I want to know more about why. I haven't painted very often, so I was surprised to see so many people be so interested by it, and I want to know what it was they enjoyed so that I can pursue it the next time. I forgot this is the one with a stray hair. Maybe I shouldn't use it. Hold on. I might not color in her skin on cam just because I don't want to mess up like the wet paint, but it shouldn't look too different once I finish because this is already kind of it's kind of an off-white paper, and I have a kind of cream color I use for her skin. I don't like the eyes and the hair to be the exact same color, so I'm trying to find a way to separate them a bit. I might have to go back over this for the pupils later. That I can go over? That looks good. Coloring the eyes always makes the character feel more alive for me. It was I You can't see it here, but I used a brush like an hour ago that is still coming out of the water dirty. And that is why I need to use my towel, which I will get to later. Okay, okay. It's still a little wet, but I wonder if I can try and do her eyelashes and eyebrows. I feel like the pearls on the cuffs of her hair look weird. I feel like they don't look like pearls, they just look like weird blobs. That could just be me, that could just be, like, my artist brain, but what do you guys think? Maybe try and squish them a little. Okay. I actually don't think I got out any black earlier. Hold on. It's almost been 3 hours, that's crazy. Painting is a very intense experience, I am learning. I might have to use the paintbrushes I normally use for dolls, which are, like, mini. They were originally designed for nail art, but they also work well for doll customizing. This I think I could also go over with pen. There, that looks good, that looks good. I feel like this eye looks a lot more open than the other right now. That's not what I want, I'd have to adjust it. Gonna move this real quick. There, that looks good. So I do wanna adjust a little bit. I'd have to go over some of this eyelash here with the teal again. but I can do that later. That part of the pupil too. I draw my pupils almost like the shadow of the highlight, and it's not usually intentional, but I think it works really well. These look so messy. I don't think you can see it as well on camera, but the pearls in her hair look very messy, and I do not like it. Overall, I think this looks really good, and I'm really proud of that because I haven't used gouache that many times. Yeah, that's better. That's more of the expression I was going for. Okay, that's pretty good. I feel like usually I have trouble with faces, so I'm happy to see this one turn out so well. Gonna try and clean up these edges. That looks a bit better. I really like how these rounder beads in her hair, I think they also look like bubbles, and that was what I was going for, but they look a bit like bubbles and a bit like pearls, and I actually kind of like the ambiguity. Whoops, gotta add more there in a minute. Okay, that looks pretty good. I kind of like the messier sections, like not every single one, but I like a lot of them. All right. Yes, I am washing the wrong end of the brush because I might want to use it again, and I don't want to accidentally, get the white into another color. So I'm gonna get out I feel like I should add her some feet just in case. I'm adjusting one thing real quick. These are just going to be a couple of simple shapes. Worrying about it too much. You can't see much of her feet anyway. Sorry, feet people. I am going to try and make these a slightly different pink so that they stand out. All right, can you tell if those are like the toes of high heels? I can, but I think it's more important to just have like the suggestion of feet so that it doesn't look like she's like floating. Miku has a lot of powers. Maybe one of them is floating, but that's not what I'm going for right here. Okay. 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 Oops. Look, her the paint from her hair is going a little bit over her arm here, so I might want to clean that up, but I'm not sure. If I like went over some of this with pen, I might not do it in this painting, but maybe another one. I'm aware that this looks very smudged, but I think it'll actually look a lot better once the lighting is better too. Once like everything's dry and you can just like blow off all the dust. Okay. I don't usually worry about like highlights, but I wonder if that would look better the next time I do a painting like this. I'm not sure. Like maybe it would add more variation. I think the variation is useful when you have such big blocks of color. How's that look? Wow. Occasionally I forget how many supplies I get out at one time. Checking to see how the eyes look. I'm trying to blend some of this out because this is a very pale teal that I'm adding on. Okay, I want to make her shoes look a little more crisp and add my signature, and then we're going to be done for today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the cracking. I might just leave it. Mixing some darker pink real quick. Ooh, that's lighter than I thought. Hold on. Almost done here. Okay, that should look good. Sure. I hope people can tell those are feet. Like, again, it's better to have something than nothing, I think. Well, I forgot to get out a pen, so I think I'm going to have to paint my signature. That'll be interesting. How do I paint that small enough? Might have to get out my doll brushes again. I might also just have to get out a pen because I want to make sure this is very legible. Hold on. This looks super small from where you are, but it's normal in real life. Okay, so that took much longer than I expected, but maybe the next time we paint this, we can add like highlights, we can add more variation. Maybe when we go over it with watercolor. Okay, we're going to be done for today, and I will see you in the next one.